Hi, and welcome to another episode of Hot Takes with me, the Silver Fox. A bit close to home, the news I'm about to tell you here, because in the next constituency to mine is the constituency of Wellingborough. It consists of the town of Wellingborough and then a very large sort of rural area. The town tends to vote Labour, the rural area tends to vote Tory. It tends to be a Tory seat. I don't know if you call it gerrymandering, but it means everyone who's a Labour supporter in Wellingborough hasn't really got a chance, have they? But Peter Bone, great name if you're a dodgy, sleazy character like Peter Bone, has had a recall petition and he's lost it. 13% or so of the votes against. So there will be a by-election. Now, saying it's a strong Tory seat doesn't mean he's going to win it. For one thing, his local Tory association will have to pick him as the candidate, by no means guaranteed. And even if he is picked as a candidate, chances are he's not going to win, given the polling the Tories are getting. It's a right beating. So there could be a change of party in Wellingborough. Now, it has to happen within so many weeks, and they're going to do this, and then literally straight away there's going to be a general election, could be as early as May. So it could be interesting. So I do think it'll fall probably to Labour, simply because people know that there's not a lot of damage Labour can do. They can, can throw a vote out there just to show, hey, look, and tell central office what they're doing. But it won't half bother Rishi Sunak. Let's have a look. Now, it won't change much in terms of what happens at Parliament, of course, while losing just one seat. But it will be another bloody nose for Rishi. And it will start piling the pressure on him because it's yet more rejection of Toryism, despite him trying his best to do this and trying his best to do that and everything. And of course, it's just a reflection on how bad things are. So it could actually trigger the end of Rishi Sunak, which would be a major issue. But of course, in the sort of either 5-6 months or at most 11 months till the next election, it really won't make a great deal of difference. It will to Peter Bone, of course. Oh yes, he's a man who's out. I saw him the other day. I was shopping. I was in the Tesco's in Wellingborough, as it happened. I was in the car and Peter Bone walked across. And you know what? I forgot who it was. My first one, I went, is that Sven-Goran Eriksson? And then I realised, no, it wasn't. It was Peter Bone. But he does look a bit that way, doesn't he? Anyway, a by-election will take place in Wellingborough after 13.2% of the electorate backed a petition to recall MP Peter Bone. The old rag and bone man himself has been caught doing some dodgy things, a little bit dodgy things. He got banned, and people have said, enough's enough, you're out. Basically, bullying and a bit of touchy-feelying. His wife wasn't happy because it was with a man. Hey-ho. Rishi Sunak will face an election. I'm not judging. I'm not saying that doing it with a man is wrong. I'm not that person. But I'm saying if you are married to a wife and you're doing it with a man, that kind of makes it slightly worse for the wife. Anyway, Rishi, not that it's not, doing it with a woman is still bad for the wife. But doing it with a man, I think, is worse for the wife, if you know what I mean. Anyway, Rishi Sunak will face an electoral test early in the new year after voters in Peter Bone's MP seat triggered a by-election. North Northamptonshire Council confirmed that 13.2% of the electorate in Wellingborough had backed a recall petition of their MP, passing the 10% threshold needed. We all know I covered in some extent, of course, the Rutherglen one. And I will cover this. And I know I mostly do SNP and Scottish News and things, but this one, bear with me, folks. It is next door. It is one of interest. But he is a bit of a deviant, really. And so it's good that he goes. I think he will go. I don't think there's any way he can stay. Anyway, the petition had been prompted after Mr. Bone, and honestly, you couldn't make it up with this name, could you? Talk about Mr. Bun the Baker. What do they call it? Nominative determinism, Anyway, it had been prompted after Mr. Bone was handed a 6-week suspension from the House of Commons after he'd been found to have subjected a staff member to bullying and sexual misconduct. Sexual misconduct. Would you like to touch my bone? Don't think so, Mr. Bone. Anyway, he'd been sitting as an independent after losing the Conservative whip in the aftermath of the ruling, which is why I don't think his local association will select him. In a statement, that's if he even stands, of course. He might not stand. Anyway, in a statement published on social media, Bone said having a by-election seemed bizarre as 86.8% of the electorate did not want to remove me from the office. Oh, well, there you go then. But enough. 10% did, and that's enough. And since you're so secure and so safe that 86% don't want you going, then I'm sure it won't worry you. Stand as an independent and watch and see. Hey, the veteran politician who's been spotted in Westminster in recent days says the allegations against him were totally untrue and without foundation, and he would say that, wouldn't he? But alas, it seemed enough people believe that they were true. But I'm sure, of course, that without a case, he's innocent. Of course, he hasn't gone to court. He's completely innocent. But the very allegations are there, spoken fire and all that, Anyway, he thanked those who'd contacted me to offer their support from across the political spectrum. The council recorded on Tuesday that 10,505 people backed the petition to recall Mr. Bone during a process lasting 6 weeks. And I remember, again, going back up to Ruther Glen, it was a very long 6 weeks. And I did actually mention this at the beginning 6 weeks ago when I said about it. And I did say I'd follow up, and ta-da, good to be word. I don't just throw this channel together, Anyway, the by-election threshold has been set at 7,904, 10% of the eligible voters in the constituency, of which he passed it by a mark. And so there will be a by-election, and he will probably lose. Now, if he stands as an independent, he most likely will lose. And I think Labour will whip the seat from regardless, even if he stands as a Tory. So it's going to be bad news. Anyway, it means Sunak, the Conservative Party leader, will face another stern test early in 2024. He's only won one election since he became Prime Minister. And to be honest then, only scraped in, skin of the teeth, in a Tory area in Uxbridge. And that's simply because Sadiq Khan's deeply, deeply unpopular ULIS scheme. Otherwise, he wouldn't have won any. Anyway, Wellingborough has been held by the Tories since 2005 after Mr. Bone took it from Labour. And I think Mr. Bone is going to lose it to Labour. During Boris Johnson's landslide victory of 2019, the Tories held it with a strong 18,540 majority. Don't be thinking that is going to save you, mister. With the Tories well behind Labour in the polls and the larger blue majorities having been overturned in recent by-elections. Bedford, the big one, 20,000 majority overturned there. So, hey, Sunak's party is expected to have a battle on its hands to hold on to the constituency when voters go to the polls. It's going to be 6 weeks, so what are we looking at? End of January, first week of February, something like that. Can't be any later. So, yeah. Going to start the year with a defeat. How wonderful. That may make him pick up his money and run. Because after all, Sunak is the non-tax-paying billionaire with a green card. Maybe he'll leave for America a bit sooner. We can only hope, can't we? Anyway, I shall round off there. Like I say, it's not sort of the normal Scottish news I do. It's not the SNP news I do, but it is local to me. So, yes, I'm indulging myself in doing this one. But it's still going to be interesting. It will, because it will give a reflection across the whole country as well at the decline of the Tories, which means it's very, very likely that we'll all end up with a Labour government. I'm not relishing the prospect. I hate all parties. But, you do these things. Actions have consequences. What's the saying? Fuck around and find out? Well, there we go. He's finding out. I'm coming up. That's what he said. Now, of course, it does have larger issues. If this does push Sunak out and we do get a new Prime Minister, who will it be? Probably Penny Mordaunt, in my choice. Although I would love, even if it was just for a year, I would love Jacob Rees-Mogg. Don't think it'd be any good, but can you imagine someone so very posh? Even Mary Black likes him, disagrees with him, but likes him, if you know what I mean. But yeah, I don't know. It's going to change. There will be repercussions, whatever happens. So it's something that's definitely worth the watching. And there's no guarantee it won't be the last one either. Might hasten a general election. Who knows? Anyway, there we go. It's all speculation on my part. Thank you very much for watching. I will round off there. I will ask if you do please hit that subscribe button though. That would be massively helpful for the channel. Until next time, stay safe, stay well, and I will speak to you later. Bye.